Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to take a look at a bunch of new cards that were revealed for the set Stellar Miracle. As mentioned before, Stellar Miracle will release in Japan on July 19th, and we expect these cards to become part of the international set Stellar Crown, which is like the next big English set, I guess, after Shrouded Fable, which isn't releasing until September. So we've got a wee wait before we get these cards in the West, but it's always fun to take a look at what the future format holds for us. And the Slowking is pretty cool, feels like a wee while since we've actually seen a Slowking, which is always nice to see, Pokemon that don't really appear too much in the games, I guess, getting more love in the TCG, which is cool. And the Slowking is using the Force, which also makes it very cool. But Slowking does have the attack Inspirational Challenge, which says discard the top card of your deck. If that card is a Pokemon without a Roblox, choose one of that Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. And this is really cool because we actually had a stadium revealed for the set Shrouded Fable Night Academy. It says once during each player's turn, that player may put a card from their hand on top of their deck. And we can also use a new item called Night Stretcher to put a Pokemon or basic energy card from the discard pile into your hand. So it should actually be very easy to keep chaining these Pokemon, putting them back onto the top of your deck and discarding them for this attack. And there's plenty of pretty good options actually. Some people have already mentioned that there is some good Pokemon from the set Shrouded Fable. There's like this Haxorus with Axe Down, which says if your opponent's active has any special energy attached to it, it is KO'd. So that could be really good for Lugia. You also have this Kyurem just to do 110 to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon. So you could combo it with like other spread Pokemon, like there's a Raichu that does 50 damage to each Pokemon in play that has any damage counters on it already. There's also an Electrive that does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, I believe. So, there's plenty of decent spread options. There's plenty of like just flat out good damage on single prize Pokemon as well. So, seems really cool. I think there could definitely be some interesting potential for the Slowking. You do have to get 2 energy on it, but it's psychic, so we can play this with Xatu, which will act as not only a way of accelerating energy, but a way of drawing cards as well. So yeah, do like the idea of pairing this up with Xatu. My only gripe with this card is the fact that they gave Slowpoke 8 HP. So yeah, there's no Buddy Poffin, which is really annoying. And if any experience from Torterra before we got Bugcatcher set, so just when Torterra released, is that, you know, just having 8 HP or more is dreadful without Poffin. Just having to rely on Nest Ball, like the format feels way too fast for a deck to not have Poffin, basically, if you're not tanky. So yeah, that's my only major concern for this evolution line. But aside from that, this is just a very fun attack to use. And there's just so many single price Pokemon you can copy. There's like Scavalion, which can do like 90 damage, or wait, no, wait, my mistake, because Scavalion needs you to have a Fire Energy attached to it. So that probably wouldn't work. But I think there's a Melmetal that does like 220 damage. There's Scizor from City and Flames, the one that does loads of damage if your opponent has loads of abilities in play. There's also just like Cleavor to do huge damage against Terrapagos, which is quite cool. So yeah, plenty of nice fun options for sure. So yeah, Slowking should be a pretty fun deck. And there was also a new Vikavolt line revealed. Now, Vikavolt itself isn't too impressive. However, you could copy Vikavolt's Sparking Strike if you want to use Slowking. So that's kind of cool. It's a flat 240 for 2 Psych Energy effectively, which is really cool. So yeah, that's nice. But the main appeal about this line really is Charger Bug, which has the attack parallel lineup. It says search your deck for up to 3 Charger Bugs and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck, which is basically just support for the other Vikavolt that was literally just released. And it's kind of just making me wonder, why did we get another Vikavolt line when there's so many Pokemon that are continuously ignored in the game? It feels a bit bad, really, to be honest. But yeah, got another Vikavolt line. Cool, I guess, if you love Vikavolt. And this Charger Bug is just, yeah, it's just a direct buff, I guess, to the previous Vikavolt. And maybe a sign that we're getting a Vikavolt EX, I'm guessing, at some point. It's safe to assume. Although I don't see why they would want to print another Grubbin, another Charger Bug after this. But they might release it as a promo, I guess. But you never know. But yeah, can imagine we'll see a Vikavolt EX. If not, then it feels very strange to get 2 Vikavolt lines so close to each other. It just feels weird. But then we also have a Caracosta line, which I think is pretty cool. I did talk about this in a recent community post, but it is following the tradition of the fossils that came around in 151. in that there'll be these like unique fossil items which have like these special abilities. So like antique cover fossil has protective cover, prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Damage is not an effect. Still a really cool effect to have on an ability, so that's nice for the fossil before you rare candy it, I guess. Caracosta though is not super great, but it is kind of fun. It does have the ability Primal Knowledge. Your Pokemon's attacks do plus 30 more damage to your opponent's active evolution Pokemon, and then Tidal Wave does 150 for 2 water. So not really much an attacker, but plus 30 is quite a nice modifier. But at the end of the day, you have to think about what you would pair this up with, because it's a massive commitment, even as support Pokemon, to, put these fossils in your deck. And you can't find them with Poffin, like you have to find them with Arvin. Then you have to rare candy up to Caracosta. So at that point, you're like, why are you playing rare candy Caracosta in your deck when you could just play like other damage modifiers like Mochi and Brute Bonnet is just a bit of an easier combo to pull off and does a lot more damage. So yeah, it feels a bit bad really. I'm hoping we see some good fossil support in the future. Fingers crossed for a fossil set, that would be great. But sadly, as it stands, I don't think this card is very good. Some people have mentioned Kingdra, which is a fair point. So you could use Kingdra EX from Shrouded Fable to like cheat multiple Caracosta out to play and buff your damage. But at that point, like, why are you not just attaching more energy with Excalibur to Kingdra? So like, yeah, it feels a bit weird, but Caracosta could be cool, could have some niche uses, but as it stands, it's not like the greatest. But again, it's cool to see Pokemon that don't get a ton of representation in the TCG come back. So fingers crossed for another Tyrantrum or a Aurorus, I guess. Would like a few more sets with good fossils in, but yeah, as it stands, nothing too crazy. So yeah, that's it for the reveals really. Some fun, interesting cards. Definitely some fun decks to be had out of these. It's cool that we're getting like a Vikavolt buff, I guess, and Caracosta could be quite useful. And this force using Slowking could be quite entertaining. Definitely a lot of attackers to copy, basically. But at the end of the day, how consistently will you set up this deck when Slowpoke has 80 HP? Having said that, the Night Stretcher will make this a lot easier, of course, because we'll be able to chain Slowpokes and Slowkings very quickly if we're playing 4 copies of this, because I think you kind of have to if you're discarding your Pokemon all the time. But yeah, I'm still really interested in trying this out. Could be a lot of fun, I think. Knight Academy, of course, just is what's going to make this deck really good. So yeah, really interesting to see that, and spread options will be there. But yeah, this is the Mochi card I was talking about, by the way. So, you could use Brute Bonnet to poison both active Pokemon, and then your poison Pokemon would be doing plus 40 more damage. So it's plus 50 modifier in total. So yeah, so that's what I meant by the Mochi combo being better than Antique Fossil. But yeah, Spino Power, thank you for tuning in to today's video. Let me know what you think about Slowking down below. Do you think it'll be like the next zorobox, I guess? And yeah, thank you for watching.